I'm Professor Chi. I help people raise their vibration. In this video, we're going to speak about the power of the present moment. What exactly is the present moment? How do we know when we're in the present moment? And what can we do to keep ourselves in the present moment? There's a great deal of talk about the present moment, about being in the present moment, being present, being mindful, the power of the present moment. But what exactly does it mean to be in the present moment? The present moment is all about awareness, but awareness is all about energy. The energy to be aware and mindful. We often are not in the present moment when we're a little tired, when we're relying on protocol, when we rely on things that we've done before and we're afraid to live off the inspiration of the moment. We rely on the past. We think of the future. We think, period. Not being in the present moment has a great deal to do with overthinking. Thinking is fine, but relying on thinking gets us out of the present moment. The present moment is full of silence, but it's not silence like you have to go into a quiet room. It's silence from overthinking, from silence from relying on your internal dialogue to tell you what to do next. When you can quiet the internal dialogue or your attention to the internal dialogue, that is the kind of empty silence that allows us to be in the present moment. At that, when we're no longer fascinated with our internal dialogue, you cannot really stop the internal dialogue. The internal dialogue will continue, but it's the fascination with the internal dialogue, listening intently to the internal dialogue, that we run into problems, because then we start to overthink what just went by in that train of thought. The train of thought is going by. It doesn't mean you have to jump on board. When we jump on board, we tend to go zooming into the future or reversing into the past, because thought in its essence is either in the future, you're thinking about something that's going to happen, or you're reminiscing about something that happened in the past, or you're looking for what to do next with your memory bank, with your memory. Our memory is all in the past. Now, we cannot do without it. Habit and memory is very important to create some kind of continuity in this world. However, that's not always being in the present moment. To be in the present moment, we are in a state of inspired, intuitive knowing. Inspired, intuitive knowing. In other words, rather than listening and relying and leaning on the internal dialogue, we allow the next inspired moment to come up and give us direction of what to do next. That is how we stay in the present moment. The present moment is waiting. There's a certain amount of waiting is. In other words, we're not convinced that we know exactly what to do next. Now, this is counterintuitive to the way we've been taught, because the world tells us that we have to, be prepared. You have to be educated. And it's true. It's very important to be prepared and educated. But once you're prepared, once you've created some direction, then it's time to be in the present moment and allow inspiration and knowing to fill in the blanks. Now thinking, or thinking in the now, is directional. It creates a paradigm and a template for the intuitive knowing to fill up. You fill up the intuitive knowing with a certain amount of now thinking. Thinking in the now is very different than thinking in the past or in the future, or what is going to happen or what did happen. The now thinking, again, creates a parameter, creates a corral for the wild, intuitive knowing to not get too far out of hand. It creates context. Now thinking is about context. For instance, you're speaking with somebody, and the now thinking allows you to know who that person is. You know something about that person. That creates the context of what to say next. You'll know what to say and what not to say to this person because you know certain things about them. Now, that's from the past. And once you get that straight, stop thinking about it. You no longer think about it. It's created the context and that's the now thinking that's created the context so that you can rely on inspiration and the words that are going to come next to fulfill or to fill up the space in the conversation that's about to happen. The silence that is created from not tuning in to your internal dialogue allows the space to be in the present moment. And energy is the key to all of this, because when we're tired, we will rely on the past. And I don't mean tired like you're sleepy, because you can be in the present moment while you're sleepy. It's more like the energy to care enough to follow through on the inspiration that comes to you. Because when we are not truly full of energy, then we're not inspired. And we get inspiration through breathing. So breathing is the key to being in the present moment. Now, it doesn't mean we have to sit and pay attention to every breath that comes along. It's more like breath awareness. I am right here now and I'm breathing. That central idea is the cornerstone for being in the present moment. Because generally speaking, when we project it into the future, we start breathing a little faster. When we go backwards into the past, we oftentimes don't breathe enough and you're breathlessly, remembering things. So the key is to be aware of your breath and understand that deep breathing or inspiration to inspire brings the inspiration to know what to do next. If we're struggling to be in the present moment, stop. Just wait for a minute. Pay attention to your breath. Breathe deep. Feel that energy coming in, and then understand and feel and believe, have some faith that in that breath there is the energy that has the inspiration for the next thought that's going to come, the next inspired, intuitive, now thinking that will fill up the present moment. The being present will bring a certain amount of joy because new things will be happening in the present moment. If things feel dull, if things feel hurried, then you're either, if they're really dull and it feels like a rerun, your mind, you are in the past. If you feel rushed and you're rushing towards things, you're obviously pushing towards into the future. When we're in the present moment, everything is allowed to be as it is, and we slowly and carefully and methodically do one thing at a time. Keep your eye on the ball of just staying right here and now, and things will unfold in a wonderful way that makes being alive fun, enthusiastic, and exciting. Life is not exciting when we're stuck in the past and worrying about the future. Being in the present moment is probably enough for every now moment creates the next now moment. The one way that I know of to stay charged up so you can stay in the present moment is solar qigong. You can go to solarqigong.com and learn with me, practice with me how to condense the energy that's all around us into the center of who you are and have a reservoir of energy to rely upon to stay in the present moment.